As Marina delicately attended to the somber task of preparing her sister's body for the funeral rites, her tender care revealed an unexpected discovery. Nestled within Kadia's parted lips lay a folded note, its contents shrouded in mystery, urging Marina to unravel its secrets. However, her reverie was abruptly interrupted by the sudden entrance of her twin sisters, Marina and Kadia, evoking a stark juxtaposition to their once inseparable bond, now cleaved apart by the whims of fate. In the aftermath of their academic pursuits, Marina embarked on a journey of higher education in the bustling metropolis of Moscow, while Kadia, faced with the disappointment of failed entrance exams, sought refuge in marriage, her dreams tethered to the capital's embrace. The divergence of their paths stirred within Marina a complex blend of emotions, tinged with a hint of envy as she pondered her sister's impending motherhood, a realm yet unexplored for herself. Despite the physical distance that separated them, Marina cherished the moments spent with her sister during visits, their bond fortified by shared dreams and whispered confidences. Yet, an ethereal connection seemed to transcend the miles, as Kadia's unborn children wove their aunt into the tapestry of their dreams, beckoning Marina towards an uncertain future tinged with hope and longing. When Marina reluctantly bid farewell to her family and embarked on the journey back to her studies, a sense of foreboding gripped her heart. Casting shadows of doubt upon her departure, the solemn demeanor of her loved ones hinted at unspoken fears, leaving Marina haunted by a lingering sense of unease that permeated the air. In the stillness of the night, Marina grappled with the weight of impending change, her thoughts consumed by the mysterious premonitions that seemed to linger at the edge of her consciousness. Little did she know, the quiet whispers of destiny held secrets untold, weaving a tapestry of fate that would forever alter the course of her journey. Throughout the night, Marina was ensnared in the clutches of a nightmare, its tendrils of fear wrapping around her consciousness like a suffocating shroud. Consumed by worry for her family, she reached out to her mother in the early hours, seeking solace and reassurance in the pre-dawn darkness. In her dream, Marina found herself transported to a distant realm, where the specter of her mother's and sister's distress loomed large, driven by an instinctual urge to protect those she loved. Marina embarked on a journey fueled by desperation, her actions guided by an unyielding determination to heed the call of familial duty without pausing to contemplate the consequences. Marina purchased a train ticket, surrendering herself to the inexorable pull of fate as she hurtled towards her hometown. Arriving at the station, she was greeted by the familiar sights and sounds of her childhood, yet an eerie sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air, casting a pall over her homecoming. At her sister's doorstep, Marina's frantic knocks echoed unanswered, leaving her heart pounding with dread. It was then that she heard her mother's voice, strained with anguish, urging Marina to rush to the hospital. The chilling news that awaited her there shattered Marina's world. Her beloved sister, Kadia, had met a tragic end in a fatal accident involving electrocution. Bewildered and distraught, Marina struggled to reconcile the circumstances of Kadia's death with the image of her sister she held in her heart. Something didn't add up. Kadia had always been wary of using electrical appliances near water, making the circumstances of her demise seem inexplicable. In the days that followed, Marina embarked on a quest for answers, determined to unravel the mystery shrouding her sister's untimely passing. Her quest led her to a startling revelation: a librarian's card discovered concealed within Kadia's mouth, bearing an enigmatic message that set Marina on a path towards truth and justice. Confronting the woman implicated in her sister's death, Marina was consumed by a maelstrom of emotions as she demanded accountability. In a stunning twist, the truth emerged: Kadia's demise had been orchestrated by her husband's lover, who sought to conceal their illicit affair by staging Kadia's death as a tragic accident. Justice prevailed as the perpetrators were brought to account for their crimes, sentenced to face the consequences of their heinous actions. In the aftermath of the trial, Marina emerged as a beacon of strength, assuming custody of her sister's children and providing them with the love and care they so desperately needed. As Marina reflected on the harrowing events that had transpired, she couldn't help but wonder about the alternate trajectory her sister's life might have taken. What if Kadia had pursued her aspirations of higher education? The question lingered in Marina's mind, a testament to the fragility of fate and the profound Impact of our choices on the course of our lives. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey to the conclusion of our story. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below after watching this story. What do you think of? Then there is another story about death. Let's expect what will happen. Father Donovan's heart pounded in his chest as he dialed the number for the local police station. Each ring felt like an eternity, the weight of his decision pressing down on him like a heavy burden. Finally, someone answered on the other end. "Hello, this is Father Donovan," he began, his voice shaky but determined. "I need to speak with someone about a matter of utmost urgency," as he relayed his concerns to the police officer on the line. Father Donovan felt a mix of relief and apprehension. He knew that by breaking the seal of confession, he was risking not only his reputation but also his safety. Yet, he couldn't bear the thought of remaining silent and allowing injustice to prevail. Within minutes, police officers arrived at the church, their presence sending ripples of unease through the congregation. Father Donovan led them to his office, where he shared the contents of the file he had painstakingly compiled. The evidence was damning: suspicions of foul play surrounding Emily Harris's untimely death. Father Donovan recounted the snippets of conversation he had overheard during confessions, the cryptic hints and veiled threats that had haunted him in the days leading up to the funeral. When the officers listened intently, Father Donovan felt a glimmer of hope flicker within him. Perhaps, with their help, justice could be served, and Emily's family could find closure. Meanwhile, outside the church, whispers and murmurs spread like wildfire among the townsfolk. Speculation ran rampant as they wondered what could have prompted Father Donovan to halt the funeral proceedings. Back in his office, Father Donovan braced himself for the storm that was sure to follow. He knew that his actions would have far-reaching consequences, but he also knew that he had done what he believed to be right. As the officers departed to launch an investigation, Father Donovan's thoughts turned to Emily Harris, the innocent young girl whose tragic death had sparked a chain of events that would forever alter the fabric of their small town. With a heavy heart and a prayer on his lips, Father Donovan prepared to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that he had chosen the path of righteousness, no matter the cost. With a trembling hand, Father Donovan pressed the numbers on his phone, each digit echoing in the silence of his office. As the line connected, he braced himself for the weight of the truth he was about to unveil to the authorities. In Sanctuary, like many small towns, there existed a delicate balance between the idyllic facade and the shadows lurking beneath. While most of the community reveled in the close bonds they shared, whispers of darker realities lingered on the outskirts. At the heart of Sanctuary stood the Harris family. Pillars of wealth and influence deeply entrenched in the town's history, their prosperity touched every corner, from the land they owned to the institutions they supported. Yet, beneath the surface of their benevolence lay secrets that threatened to unravel the town's tranquil facade. Tom and Sarah Harris, the esteemed figures of Sanctuary, projected an image of affluence and altruism. Their generosity endeared them to the townsfolk, masking the cracks in their perfect facade. Emily, their only child, bore the weight of their unspoken desires, a pawn in their quest to preserve appearances. Behind closed doors, Emily's childhood unfolded in the shadow of her parents' indifference. Their reluctance to embrace parenthood cast a pall over her upbringing, leaving her to navigate a world where love was a facade and family a distant illusion. As Emily grew, so did her awareness of the charade enveloping her existence. Though her parents adorned her with superficial affection in public, their detachment behind closed doors left her yearning for the warmth of genuine love and connection. Now, on the cusp of adolescence, Emily grappled with the realization that her idyllic upbringing was a carefully constructed lie. The Harris family's pristine facade crumbled beneath the weight of Emily's disillusionment, revealing a fractured existence rife with secrets and unspoken truths. In Father Donovan's trembling voice echoed the culmination of years of deception and neglect. With each word spoken to the authorities, the fragile veneer of Sanctuary's tranquility shattered, exposing the darkness that lurked beneath its surface. And as the truth unfurled, the fate of Sanctuary hung in the balance, its future irrevocably altered by the revelations that lay hidden within its midst. However, Emily never anticipated the gravity of the truth she would stumble upon. Amidst the expanse of the Harris family's opulent residence, she found solace in her ability to roam unnoticed, a freedom Afforded by her parents' negligence in the vast labyrinth of their home, Emily embarked on her clandestine expeditions, eavesdropping on fragments of conversations and unraveling the threads of her parents' secrets. With each clandestine exchange, she meticulously catalogued her findings, piecing together a mosaic of deceit and illicit dealings. Driven by curiosity and emboldened by her burgeoning intellect, Emily delved deeper into the shadows that enshrouded her family. Yet, what began as a game of intrigue soon morphed into a harrowing revelation that threatened to upend her sheltered existence. In a moment of youthful naivety, Emily resolved to unlock the mysteries concealed within the forbidden rooms of their home. The allure of forbidden knowledge beckoned to her, casting a spell of excitement over her mundane reality. However, beneath the surface of her whimsical exploration lurked the specter of danger, a reality she was yet to confront. For Emily, the line between fantasy and reality blurred as she danced on the precipice of discovery. In her innocence, she believed herself immune to the repercussions of her discoveries, shielded by the guise of childhood innocence. Little did she know that the shadows she sought to illuminate concealed dangers far greater than she could ever imagine. When Emily tiptoed deeper into the abyss of her family's secrets, she unwittingly set into motion a chain of events that would shatter the illusion of Sanctuary's tranquility and thrust her into a world of perilous truths. And in her relentless pursuit of truth, she would come face to face with the chilling reality that some secrets were never meant to be uncovered. While Emily approached the locked doors, she felt a surge of anticipation mingled with trepidation. With a deft hand, she extracted a bobby pin from her hair, a token borrowed from her favorite detective movies, and inserted it into the lock. To her astonishment, the door yielded to her touch with a soft click, granting her access to the enigmatic chambers beyond. Stepping into the dimly lit room, Emily's expectations collided with reality. Contrary to her fantasies of hidden treasures and clandestine artifacts, the space was stark and devoid of adornment. An office chair beckoned from beneath the glow of a solitary desk lamp, casting elongated shadows across the room. Approaching the imposing filing cabinet, Emily braced herself for disappointment, expecting its contents to remain concealed behind locked drawers. Yet, to her disbelief, the drawers glided open effortlessly at her touch, revealing a trove of documents and secrets hidden in plain sight. As she pored over the meticulously organized files, a knot of unease tightened in Emily's stomach. Each page revealed glimpses of a clandestine world teeming with illicit transactions and shadowy figures. Names, dates, and monetary sums danced before her eyes, painting a vivid portrait of Sanctuary's underbelly. The sight of unmarked bags containing powdery substances sent shivers down Emily's spine, their ominous presence a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beneath the surface of her idyllic hometown. With trembling hands, she combed through the ledger-like entries, each line a testament to the insidious nature of the operation she had unwittingly stumbled upon. When the weight of her discovery settled upon her, Emily's thoughts spiraled into a whirlwind of fear and uncertainty. The game she had played with such innocent curiosity had unraveled into a chilling reality, one with consequences far graver than she could have ever imagined. In the solitude of her room, tears streamed down Emily's cheeks as she grappled with the magnitude of her revelation. The veil of ignorance had been lifted, revealing a truth she was ill-prepared to confront, and as she lay restless in the embrace of the night, the question lingered, haunting her thoughts with its unspoken implications. Had her family been complicit in the darkness that lurked within Sanctuary's shadows? As the weeks passed, Emily found herself weighed down by the burden of her discovery. Sleep eluded her, her appetite waned, and her once stellar grades began to slip. The revelations from the ledger painted a damning picture of corruption within Sanctuary, implicating even those tasked with upholding the law. Emily felt utterly alone, unable to confide in anyone for fear of retribution. However, when Miss Thompson, a concerned teacher, noticed Emily's abrupt change in demeanor, the floodgates of her pent-up emotions burst open. Unable to bear the weight of her secret any longer, Emily poured her heart out to Miss Thompson, divulging every detail of her findings. Despite her desperation for help, Emily insisted on keeping the information confidential, fearing that the web of corruption extended far beyond her parents. Miss Thompson, torn between her duty to protect Emily and her own uncertainty, sought solace in the Sanctuary of Father Donovan's confessional, There, she laid bare the shocking truth that Emily had shared, grappling with the moral dilemma of whether to intervene or maintain the sanctity of the confessional seal. Meanwhile, as Emily returned home, an ominous tension hung in the air, signaling that her parents were aware of her clandestine activities. The realization struck Emily like a thunderbolt, plunging her into a maelstrom of fear and uncertainty. With a heavy heart and trembling limbs, she descended the stairs, steeling herself for the confrontation that awaited her. In the kitchen, Emily's worst fears were realized as she beheld the ledger laid out before her father, a damning testament to her clandestine investigation. Tom's accusatory glare pierced through her, his voice laced with disappointment and anger as he demanded answers. Caught in the unforgiving spotlight of her parents' scrutiny, Emily grappled with the gravity of her actions. The weight of their betrayal bore down on her, threatening to crush her beneath its suffocating embrace. Yet, even in the face of her parents' wrath, Emily found a flicker of defiance burning within her, a determination to confront the truth, no matter the cost. As Emily pored over the ledger, the weight of her discoveries bore down on her. Despite any attempts to deny it, the truth was undeniable. The pressure of her revelations compelled her to lay bare everything she had uncovered in recent months. From cryptic phone calls to hushed conversations, each disclosure only served to heighten her mother's mounting panic, evident in Sarah's agitated pacing and anxious glances at Tom. Sarah's rising anger was palpable. The fear of the repercussions if Emily were to divulge their secrets loomed large. In a moment of desperate impulse, Sarah lunged at her daughter, her mind consumed by a frantic urge to silence the threat Emily posed. She yearned to secure her daughter somewhere safe, away from prying eyes, where they could concoct a plan to salvage their carefully constructed facade. In a panic, Emily bolted for the front door, but her escape was thwarted by Tom and Sarah's desperate need for her silence. Tom's grip tightened around Emily's arm in a bid to restrain her, but in the chaos of the moment, Emily stumbled. Her fall met with a sickening collision with the sharp edge of a nearby sideboard. As Emily lay motionless on the floor, blood pooling around her, Tom and Sarah stood frozen in shock, grappling with the grim reality of the situation. Their daughter's lifeless form lay before them, a stark testament to the tragic consequences of their secrets. In the face of Emily's death, Tom and Sarah were faced with a chilling choice. Confronted with the prospect of incrimination, they opted for silence, determined to protect their own interests at any cost. With grim resolve, they set about sanitizing the scene, erasing any trace of their involvement in their daughter's demise. Securing the ledger away, they orchestrated a facade of innocence, awaiting the arrival of the office cleaner to discover Emily's body. Yet, amidst the town's grief, suspicions lingered, particularly in the heart of Miss Thompson. Beneath the veil of sorrow, she sensed a darker truth lurking, one that hinted at foul play and a tangled web of deceit that threatened to unravel Sanctuary's fragile peace. Just a few hours after Tom and Sarah were identified as potential culprits, Miss Thompson realized the gravity of her discovery. Understanding the need for discretion, she once again sought the sanctuary of the confessional booth to confide in Father Donovan. The revelations about the Harris family deeply disturbed Father Donovan, who found himself caught in a moral dilemma. Bound by the seal of confession, he was torn between the need to maintain confidentiality and the moral imperative to prevent further harm. Despite these constraints, he began to quietly gather evidence of the Harris family's alleged involvement in a drug operation. As Emily's funeral approached, Father Donovan's conviction and the truth of Emily's disclosures to Miss Thompson solidified, amplifying his sense of horror. On the day of the funeral, he was consumed by a turmoil of emotions, struggling with the knowledge of Tom and Sarah Harris's illicit activities and their possible complicity in their own daughter's death. The thought of facing them, knowing their dark secrets, was unbearable. Meanwhile, the church filled with anxious attendees, unaware of the delay's cause. Suddenly, the somber atmosphere was shattered by the sound of sirens, prompting Tom and Sarah to exchange worried looks. Their attempt to mask their daughter's death as an accident was unraveling. They hadn't anticipated Emily might have confided in someone. As police officers stormed the church, Tom and Sarah realized their precarious situation. They clung to the hope that their police connections within Sanctuary might save them. Unbeknownst to them, Emily had entrusted someone with critical information about Their operations, due to their corrupt ties with the local police, an external force from a neighboring town was called to lead the investigation. Sealing their fate, the investigation revealed the Harris family's long-standing dominance and manipulation, shocking the community that had placed unwavering trust in them for generations. The Harris family had expertly concealed their criminal activities under the guise of philanthropy, seamlessly passing the illicit business from one generation to the next. The revelation of their actions shattered the community's trust, exposing the deep roots of corruption that had thrived under the guise of generosity and leadership in Sanctuary. Tom and Sarah's indifference and aversion towards their daughter was ultimately their downfall, despite the initial reluctance of the townspeople to acknowledge the truth. It eventually became clear that the entire town had been deceived by the Harris couple, and that their daughter, Emily, was merely an unwitting participant in their schemes. As a consequence of their actions, Tom and Sarah were sentenced to life imprisonment, and the vast lands they once possessed were gradually sold to the inhabitants of Sanctuary. In the aftermath, the only remaining symbol of the Harris family within the community was the grave of Emily, in a collective effort to honor her memory and courage in standing up against her parents. The townspeople regularly adorned her final resting place with fresh flowers, ensuring her legacy would not be forgotten. Now, the story shifts its focus to you, the audience. What are your thoughts on this narrative? Specifically, do you believe Father Donovan made the correct decision in choosing to defy his professional duties and personal convictions to expose the Harris family's wrongdoings? Your insights and opinions are valuable to us, so we encourage you to share them in the comment section below. After watching this story, what do you think of Then There Isn't Another Story, A Man's Death? Let's expect what will happen. When her young son approached her, Olive felt a jolt of panic as he mentioned seeing his father with an unfamiliar woman. Her heart raced with confusion and dread as she hurried to the spot her son mentioned, praying that his youthful eyes were mistaken. The last 7 years with her husband had been an emotional roller coaster, and the news of his death had shattered their world. The thought of him being alive and with another woman was bewildering. As her son drifted into a serene slumber, Olive marveled at his innocence, contemplating the daunting task of explaining the complexities of life and loss to him. How could she convey that the pillar of their family, his father, was no longer in this world? 8 months earlier, Olive's life took a devastating turn when her husband, Simon, vanished during a business trip to Costa Rica. Shortly after his departure, Olive received a harrowing call informing her that Simon's belongings, marked by his blood, were discovered adrift in the ocean. Despite an extensive search, his body remained missing, leading authorities to conclude a tragic accident at sea claimed his life. The absence of a body left a gaping wound in Olive's heart, as she clung to a sliver of hope for his improbable return. Married for 8 years, Olive and Simon's journey from humble beginnings to prosperity was a testament to their hard work and dedication. They had built a successful multi-million-dollar enterprise together, a dream they had nurtured side by side. Yet, Simon's disappearance rendered their achievements hollow, as Olive grappled with the reality of facing the future alone. The aftermath of Simon's presumed death brought more shocking revelations. Olive was blindsided by the discovery that Simon had drained their business accounts and sold their company shortly before his disappearance. These bewildering actions painted a picture of betrayal and left Olive with more questions than answers. Amidst the turmoil, she struggled to piece together the fragments of their once idyllic life, seeking clarity in a situation that seemed to unravel further with each passing day. The sudden barrage of calls and emails from the bank shattered Olive's world further. Simon, her husband, had taken out all their money without her knowledge, leaving her and their son destitute. Amidst her grief, a wave of resentment washed over Olive. She couldn't reconcile Simon's abandonment with his promise to protect her and their son. It felt like betrayal, a betrayal that cut deep into her heart. As the bitterness faded, Olive found herself consumed once more by the overwhelming pain of loss. With some financial help from her father, Olive managed to chip away at the mountain of debt looming over her. But just when she thought things couldn't get worse, she returned home one day to find her world torn asunder. The sight that greeted Olive was a nightmare come to life. Their home had been ransacked, every corner turned upside down. Panic gripped her as she raced to her son Kyle's room, only to find it empty, devoid of everything, including Kyle himself. Frantic and terrified, Olive called out to her son, her voice trembling with fear and desperation. A chilling note on the floor sent shivers down Olive's spine, revealing the sinister truth behind the chaos. Her husband's debts had come back to haunt them in the cruelest of ways. The kidnappers held Kyle hostage, demanding repayment of Simon's debts under threat of never seeing her son again. In a heart-wrenching moment of despair, Olive's world crumbled around her. The weight of her husband's actions and the danger facing her son threatened to suffocate her, but fueled by maternal instinct, Olive refused to succumb to the kidnappers' demands. Instead, she sought help from the one person she could trust, Luke Scott, the investigator involved in Simon's case. With Luke's guidance, Olive navigated a treacherous path to rescue her son. Through sheer determination and a stroke of luck, Olive was reunited with Kyle, and the kidnappers were apprehended. Yet, even in victory, Olive's torment persisted, haunted by unanswered questions surrounding her husband's death and the kidnappers' involvement. Olive clung to the hope of closure, but as the investigation yielded no conclusive evidence, Olive was forced to confront a harsh truth. Simon's fate may forever remain a mystery, leaving her to grapple with the pain of loss and uncertainty. Olive's belief in Simon's intentions remained steadfast even after his passing. She erected a secret grave for him, a place of solace where she poured out her heart every weekend, sharing updates on their son's well-being and expressing her enduring love and devotion. "Our son is doing fine, but he misses you so much," she would whisper to the wind, her voice laden with longing and sorrow. "It's very challenging, but I won't let you down." As the years passed and Olive diligently paid off Simon's debts, the bond between her and Kyle grew stronger. Together, they navigated the trials of life, finding solace and joy in each other's company. Yet, amidst their shared happiness, Olive couldn't shake the lingering pain of loss. During this time, Olive found solace in the companionship of Luke Scott. His unwavering love for her was palpable, his devotion evident in every gesture. He professed his feelings openly, hoping to fill the void in Olive's heart. Though she harbored similar emotions for Luke, Olive remained tethered to Simon's memory, unable to fully open her heart to another. "I will wait until the day you are ready," Luke assured her, his words a balm to her wounded soul. Olive found solace in his embrace, but her heart remained captive to memories of her beloved husband. A year later, Kyle's innocent request to visit Disneyland sparked a revelation in Olive. She realized that she had been denying herself happiness since Simon's death, trapped in a cycle of grief and self-reproach. With newfound determination, Olive agreed to the trip, embracing the chance to rediscover joy amidst the pain. In the enchanting world of Disneyland, Olive found respite from her burdens, her laughter mingling with the carefree spirit of childhood. For a fleeting moment, she let go of her sorrows, relishing the simple pleasures of life. As they savored a hot fudge sundae in one of the park's charming shops, Olive and Luke engaged in heartfelt conversation, while Kyle wandered off to explore. Little did they know that their idyllic day would soon be shattered by unforeseen events, plunging them into a harrowing ordeal that would test their strength and resilience. That evening in Disneyland took a sudden, unexpected turn when Kyle rushed back to Olive and Luke, breathless and alarmed. His words sent shockwaves through Olive's core. "Dad is over there with some other woman." Olive's heart pounded as she leaped to her feet, the hot fudge sundae slipping from her grasp. She looked into her son's eyes, sensing the truth behind his urgency. A cold chill gripped her as she prayed that Kyle's eyes were playing tricks on him. "Mom, let's go. Dad is there," Kyle urged, his small hand clasping Olive's tightly as they raced toward the pastry shop. With each step, Olive's heart raced faster, dread gnawing at her insides. As they approached the shop, Olive's worst fears were realized. There, sitting before her, was Simon, her husband, his laughter ringing out as he held hands with a stunning woman who seemed to radiate beauty and allure. 8 years had passed, yet Simon looked unchanged, his carefree demeanor a stark contrast to the anguish he had inflicted upon Olive and their son. Tears streamed down Olive's cheeks as she confronted the reality of Simon's betrayal. How could he be happy when he had torn their lives apart, leaving behind a trail of heartache and despair? Driven by a surge of emotions, Olive lunged towards Simon and his mistress, her cries of anguish echoing through the crowded space. Simon's protests fell on deaf ears as Olive's turmoil spilled over into a chaotic scene. Thankfully, Luke intervened, his swift actions preventing the situation from escalating further. With the help of his colleagues in California, Simon was swiftly apprehended. His elaborate scheme to abandon his family and start anew unraveled as Simon faced the consequences of his deceit. Olive, Kyle, and Luke embarked on a fresh chapter in their lives. Far removed from the shadows of their past, in their new city, they found solace and the promise of a brighter future. United by their resilience and unwavering love for each other. "Thank you for giving me a chance," Luke whispered, his voice filled with sincerity. Tears of gratitude welled in Olive's eyes as she embraced the newfound joy that awaited them. "Yes, yes, yes, Luke," Olive exclaimed, her laughter mingling with Kyle's jubilant cheers. In that moment, surrounded by love and hope, Olive knew that their journey was just beginning, filled with endless possibilities and newfound happiness. That's all about our story. If you like this story, please like and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next story.